UFC 285 this Saturday. It's finally here, ladies and gentlemen. We have the one, the only John Jones coming back facing Zero Gun. We'll definitely talk about that fight here in a sec, man. We have a really stacked undercard as well, bro. It's actually insane, bro. We have Shevchenko, we have Jeff Neal, Jalen Turner, Bo Nickel, we have Cody Garbrandt, we have Derek Brunson. So it's gonna be a very, very packed undercard. All right. Well, let's break it down, man. So start off some of the prelims. They look very, very well. We have Ian Gary headlining like the early prelims, so that's great for him, man. He definitely had a big debut, I think. A lot of hype behind that kid from Ireland, so definitely we know what those Irish fighters can do. So it's gonna be interesting to see what he can do, man. Moving up, we have Derek Brunson versus Duplessis. Duplessis just fought very recently, right? So that's a very great step up. You have number 10 Duplessis versus number 5 Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson obviously had that loss versus Jared Cannonier, but he did really good in that fight. He almost finished Cannonier, I think. And then obviously Cannonier went on to fighting Adesanya. So overall is number 10 versus number 5. That's a great fight. It's a great test for Duplessis to finally break into the top 5 if he can get it done. And I think he can. I think he's younger. I think he's more explosive. And I think just is more hungry overall. So I don't know how old is Derek Brunson. He's been doing it for a minute, right? If I'm not mistaken. I think there was talk of him fighting Jake Paul at some time. But either way, man, I think Mark Dreykus could get it done. So that's my prediction for that. And then we have Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones. Cody, man, I was watching actually a highlight of him not too long ago, a few days ago. And boy, did he, I don't want to say fell off, but like obviously he hasn't won in a very long time. He had an amazing performance against Dominic Cruz, and then he had the wars with TJ Dillashaw. So, you know, from those times, from peak Cody Garbrandt to now, it's definitely been a little bit downhill, rough patch. So I wish him the best of luck, man. He lost to Kai Kara France, and then before that he lost to Rob Font. So, you know, hopefully he can get a win under his belt. That'll definitely help him boost his confidence and hopefully, you know, get back into the rankings, man. And then starting off the main card, you have Bo Nickel versus Jamie Pickett. Both came out of Dana White Contender Series, so that's exciting. Jamie Pickett, I believe, has a little bit more experience in the UFC. However, I think this is Bo Nickel's UFC debut, right? I think he fought in the Contender Series. Yep, this is his first official UFC debut. So excited to see what a man can do like that, because he obviously is a fantastic wrestler. He's like an NCAA champion. He has all the medals. I don't know a lot about, you know, wrestling tournaments, so don't come at me, but I know that he has a lot of medals and a lot of championships, so that says something. But not only that, I was watching some of his highlights, and he has fantastic striking. And his MMA debut, he knocked the guy out unconscious. It was beautiful, and he's fast, he's explosive. So when you have a guy like that can strike like that and then wrestle you, good luck, bro. That's a John Jones-esque. That's John Jones-esque, man. It's no joke. Those guys are a pain to deal with. So very interesting to see what Jamie Pickett can do. I think I'm choosing Bo Nickel, like I said, just because of the hype and overall, just I think he can get it done. I think he can get it done for sure. A little bit biased too, because I'm a fan. Then you have Jalen Turner versus Gamrod. I have Jalen Turner for that. Jeff Neal versus Rachmanov. I think I have Jeff Neal for that. This is number 7 versus number 9, so not a huge gap, not a huge gap right there. Jeff Neal, it's interesting his record. I think he lost. Yeah, so he defeated Vicente Luque, so that's a great win under your belt, former champion. And then he also defeated Ponzinibbio. So those right there are two kind of like big names, and I know he's been on somewhat of a tear recently. He lost twice. He lost versus Magny and versus Thompson. But But other than that, he's won. He's been on a win streak since then. So good for him. Hopefully, he can break into that top five situation for that division. Because I'll tell you what, man, that situation right there is rough, bro. You're talking about Usman. You're talking about Covington. You're talking about Leon Edwards. You're talking about Hamza Shimaev. You're talking about Bilal Muhammad, which I think is a great fight for Jeff after this if he can get past this guy, this gentleman, I forget his name, I'm sorry. If he can get past Rachmanov, I would like to see Jeff Neal versus Bilal Muhammad. I think that's a very good fight. It's the fight to make at the top five. I think Bilal is top five, so it'll be kind of like, for the top five situation spot. So I think they can do something like that, and I think it will be a great fight. So I'm rooting for Jeff on this one. And then we have Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso, former Mexican. Remember that video from the press conference where the guy is like, "Hey, Dana White, former Mexican," and Dana White's like, "What the fuck?" Anyways, fellow Mexican is what I meant to say. I really hope she can do something, but she has a really, really tough task ahead of her. A really, really tough road, which that road is a nightmare. Named Valentina Shevchenko, who is a very dominant champion, who is probably one of the best women's fighters ever. Top, I think she's the pound for pound, or she's number 2, I think. Either way, just a phenomenal fighter, scary, dominant. It's just the whole package. And Valentina, however, had not so good performance in the last time that she fought Talia Santos. So if you're judging her based off that, I think Alexa definitely has a chance. But if you're basing it on any other fight before Santos, there's not a chance, bro. Shevchenko would mollywop every single top 10 of her division. And that's just the way it is. It's the way it has been. Very dominant. Very, very dominant. She's a very no-nonsense gal, I think. So she's very just straight to the point and overkill and stuff like that. So I think based on her last performance, she's going to say, hey, wait, all right. It was a close fight, right? I won, but it was a close fight, more closer than I would have liked. So let's go back to the drawing room and let's see what happens. So it's going to be interesting to see what adjustments she has made and if she's going to fight like she fought Talia Santos, or if she's going to be she's going to be OG Valentina, which not OG, but, a few fights ago Valentina where she was just completely unstoppable. The way she defeated Murphy, the way she defeated Jessica Andrade, like it was domination. It was complete domination. So, I really want for Alexa to do something because it will be a huge upset. It'll be, it'll make her a superstar from Mexico, and that will be amazing. But, Valentina, man, is just Valentina. So I think if I'm making a prediction for this fight, I think I give it to Valentina. Probably by round 3 TKO, I want to say. And again, man, Alexa, not only is you're talking about skills, but you're also talking about being put in this situation where you're fighting the best women's fighter ever, and you're also you're in a co-main event with the return of the best fighter male ever in a new weight class. Like, the hype around this card is insane, and she was placed in the middle of that. So you got to worry about the pressure getting to her, and you got to worry about the lights getting brighter and the noise, right? How would that be a factor? Because I don't think she has experience as a main event or even a co-main event. So it's going to be very interesting to see if that pressure gets to her, man. If that, John Jones, Cyril Gane, Shevchenko, they've all been there. They've all been there multiple times as main events. They've all been through this week, right? How it is week of media and stuff like that. It's exhausting for a lot of fighters say. They've all been there. I don't think she has. I don't think she's ever done that. So it's going to be very interesting to see how she can manage that and maneuver that. If she can put all that shit aside and just focus on fighting and seizing the moment and doing something amazing, then I think she has a chance because she's a phenomenal fighter, great striker, boxing background, and it's beautiful if you do see something like that happen. Which you love a feel good story. Who doesn't, right? Who doesn't love an upset? Who doesn't love a girl from Mexico defeating one of the best fighters ever? Like, come on, bro. And I don't know, maybe just because I'm a fellow Mexican, but I love to see shit like that anyways, right? Kind of like when Juliana Pena defeating Nunez. I mean, you love to see shit like that. So I'm really hoping she does something. But I still have Valentina. I still think Valentina's gonna win. So, and then we have the main event. Jon Jones is coming back after almost 3 years of not fighting, coming back to the UFC as a heavyweight, taking on Cyril Gane. I've been looking forward to this fight for a very, very long time. Obviously, the return of one of, if not the best fighters to ever do it in the UFC or MMA, period, really. If you think about it, Jon Jones is probably the best mixed martial artist that we have ever seen as a human race, really, if you want to say it that way. Like, I don't think, in my opinion, there's anyone better, pound for pound wise. So he is going to be put definitely to the test, This fight, I think there's two narratives to it, right? It could say, okay, well, Jon Jones is the best in the world. He's a GOAT, and he's going to just mollywop Cyril Gane. Or, he hasn't fought in 3 years. It's a different division. It's a different weight class, obviously. So how is that going to affect Jon Jones, if it's going to affect him at all, in his performance for Saturday night? Obviously, being heavier, right, kind of means you will use more cardio, so you could tank a little bit, or gas out, sorry, a little bit earlier in the fight than usually. Jon Jones has really never had that issue. He has always been a pressure fighter well into the fifth round. Pressure just nonstop from beginning to end. So it's gonna be exciting to see if he's able to do that again. I do think maybe he'll get gassed, especially because Cyril Gane is also a volume fighter. So two volume fighters going at it. It's gonna be really, really nice to fucking see what they can do, man. Because both of these guys on the striking division, I'll talk in the grappling here in a sec. On striking, these guys are really, really similar. Very technical, a lot of volume, a lot of output, a lot of somewhat flashy stuff, but necessary stuff, right? When you think of flashy, spinning elbows or certain kicks, you think, oh, they're doing it just for show. No, these guys, when they throw a spinning elbow, they're doing it to fucking knock you out. So that's going to be super exciting. Definitely expect some of those. Striking wise, they both got really good kicks. Jon Jones obviously has some amazing leg work. He still has an advantage on hands, but for legs, he has that really, really money kick that he's been using a lot, which is his kick to the oblique. I think it's to the oblique, right? Or to the thigh. That it's dangerous because it literally puts guys on a dangerous position, like for their leg. Like there's nothing quite like it. A few of those really well placed, and it fucking bends your leg the opposite way that it's not supposed to bend. So that's dangerous, somewhat controversial, but he does it well and it's legal. And if it works, it works, right? He has really good kicks also to the body to kind of just keep distance. He kind of just like points, fucking kicks you in the stomach with his pointy ass toe, just bah, bah. And those also do a lot of damage, obviously. But the real difference where this will be really interesting is on the ground. Because, as you may know, Jon Jones, fantastic wrestler, right? Greco-style wrestler. And once he gets you down on the ground, good luck. There's not many people that have survived that. He will absolutely mollywop you, right? Vicious, vicious elbows straight to your face. This is his style. He gets you down, he puts you in the cage, he grinds on you, he tires you, he eventually takes you down, and he probably will double leg you easily, no issue whatsoever. And then once he's on top, he immediately goes to elbows, boom, boom. or just punching you in the face. And then what he gets to do is he gets in a crucifix position. So he has one of your arms tied up to his leg, and he has another of your arms tied up to his upper body. And now you're fucked, right? Because your face is fully exposed and you can't defend yourself. So what does he do? He has to here on the side. What does he do? Bah, bah, bah. Elbows, man. Elbows all night. Cut up. You will get cut up. If Cyril Gane gets in that position, he will get busted up. I promise you that. And it's going to be interesting to see because Cyril, obviously, if you watch some of the embedded and the vlogs and the whatever the UFC does on YouTube, he's been focusing a lot on wrestling, right? Because of John Jones. So it's a similar question to what we were asking with Volkanovski versus Islam, right? You have a guy that has been wrestling his whole life, right? And then you have a guy who is training specifically for this wrestler, right? Maybe Cyril Gane doesn't have the full wrestling background or grappling background that John Jones has, but he has been training hard at it. Will it be enough, right, to stop John Jones? That's the main question. My official prediction for the fight is John Jones, I think, wins by decision. I think that I was originally thinking a knockout or a submission, but I do think that he will gas. I think that maybe, he is John Jones, but at the end of the day, he is human, right? So he's heavier, he has more weight on him. This is going to be a high output fight. So I do anticipate going the distance. And by round 5 and 4 or 5, he'll probably be a little gassed. So I do really hope he can lock some of those early rounds in and slow it down on the 3rd and the 4th and then pick it back up on the 5th. I think it's going to be a very similar matchup to the Gustafsson matchup where Cyril and Gustafsson surprised everyone. I think Cyril, no one's ruling him out. No one's ruling him out. He's an absolute fighter. I think he can definitely do some damage to John Jones. He just has to literally fight the perfect fight because, John Jones, man, is something else, something special. No one ever has stopped him. No one ever has defeated him, right? So for Cyril to be the first one to do that, he has to do something spectacular, or he has to hope that John Jones is not used to the weight class, has some ring rust, you know what I'm saying? And that's a really good bet for Cyril Gane. But overall, I'm taking John Jones. Like I said, by decision. I'll probably be putting some money in it. So don't take that as a, financial advice. I'm not any of that. So this is just my personal opinion that I think John Jones is going to win the fight. I really don't want to see a knockout. I think with these two guys, with the flashy stuff they do, with the kicks and the elbows, a knockout will be nice. A knockout could be possible, maybe like round 3, round 4, TKO. That's also a possibility. I still will favor John Jones in that. I think that John Jones has never been knocked out or knocked down. And Cyril is not a KO puncher. Cyril Gane is a output, volume, wear you down kind of puncher. He will not knock you out. He just kind of paces you. Can he do that for 5 rounds and defeat John Jones? If he can, that will be super impressive, obviously, and, he proved me wrong. But truly in my heart, I believe that John Jones is the greatest of all time, and he's here to prove a point. He doesn't want to lose. He's here to prove a point. He has a lot to prove, which kind of puts a lot of pressure on him as well, right? So you got to ask yourself, well, mentally, where is he going to be? Is he going to be, looking at the embedded, he looks motivated and he looks like he is here and he means it for business and he's fighting not just for him, but he's fighting for a legacy this time. And I like to hear that. Because, he has a purpose. That means that he's actually fighting with a purpose, not just for the money, not just for another record. You know what I'm saying? This is actually him. Took his time, trained the right way to become a heavyweight. He said that, even in the video, he said that he expected it to be quick, to be like 3 months, but, ended up being nearly 3 years. So he took his time with it. He did it the right way. And he has been training with heavyweights nonstop. Even when he was a light heavyweight, he always used to train with heavyweights. So is it going to be an issue, or is it going to be just as easy as light heavyweight? Not easy, but is he going to be as good as light heavyweight? Because, as light heavyweight, he's the best ever. So will the best ever skills transition to the heavyweight, right? That's a very, very interesting thing to see. I can't wait for the fight. And obviously, I will also have a breakdown of it once it does happen next week. So keep you guys posted. Peace.